Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing very well today. So today I am super excited because I'm going to be filming another ranking style video. I have done a few ranking videos here on my channel. I've ranked my bronzers, I've ranked my cream blushes. I've also recently ranked my primers. So I will be sure to just compile a playlist for you guys of all of the ranking videos I've done so that you can go ahead and check those out. Today I'm actually going to be ranking my foundations. So I thought I'd go ahead and just share with you all just a little bit about my skin type. I do have like normal / combination skin. It can get oily at times, but especially seasonally, my skin can get more oily or more dry. It just kind of depends on not only the state of my skin, but also how it is outside. And so I love foundation. I absolutely love trying out all types of foundations, whether it be lighter coverage. So if they're like tinted moisturizers, BB creams, I absolutely love those types of foundations. So like foundations that are more on the lighter coverage side, but then I really enjoy like medium to full coverage foundations as well that maybe leave like a more satin finish to the skin. So I love foundations. It's one of my favorite things to test out because I don't know, it's just really fun to try new formulas and find like your next holy grail, if you will. And yeah, so I have 18 foundations. I know that that's a lot that I'm going to be ranking for you guys. So let's go ahead and get into it. So like I said, I do have 18 foundations to go through today. So let's go ahead and jump right on in. And at number 18, I have this one from Maybelline. So this is a little bit of a newer foundation. This is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Perfector. It's the 4-in-1 Glow Makeup. I do have the shade 00 Fair Light. And this one actually went viral recently on TikTok because it was supposedly a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter. Here's the deal with this one and why it's ranking at number 18. I do want to say that I recently like decluttered my entire collection. And so I have makeup in my collection that I love. Like everything in my collection I should love because I recently decluttered it. And so all of these foundations I do like. I really do. I'll have like my tippy top favorites, but then I'll also have some that are just maybe like not as good or as well performing, and that's where this one kind of falls in. So there are times when I use this and I think it looks absolutely beautiful. It's very light coverage. It says that it's supposed to be a primer, concealer, highlighter, and BB cream all in one. I disagree with that. I think it could be glowy enough to be a pretty subtle highlight. I don't know why it would say it's a primer or a concealer. If it is saying it's a concealer, it's a very light coverage one. But I do agree that it could be like a BB cream or like a tinted, I don't even want to say a tinted hydrator because it's not super hydrating, but this is just a little bit finicky on the skin. It is not as beautiful as I really wanted it to be. There is something that is actually ranked really high that completely knocked like this out of the water. Like the fact that this one went viral. I mean, this one, the one that I'm talking about in a little bit definitely went viral as well, but that one far outperforms this one. So anyways, this one is ranking at number 18. I still want to keep it around, try it out, test it out, see how I feel about it, but it's just not as impressive as I had originally hoped. All right, so then we are hopping right on into number 17, and number 17 is the Rare Beauty foundation. I want to say this is like the Liquid Touch foundation, and I have the shade 180W. So I actually used this in a Get Ready With Me. I want to say it was the one where I did like, I wore like a red lip. Was it that one? No. I think it's when I tested out the like little Wet n Wild palettes, 9-pan palettes. But this one is beautiful on the skin, but it's definitely like more of a serum type foundation. So it kind of feels a little bit, I don't know. It's just like very thin. but I don't know, it's the strangest thing because I feel like it's kind of finicky as well. I do prefer this one obviously to the Maybelline one because this one at least gives more coverage, but I just feel like you have to pair it with the right primer. I feel like it doesn't, like you have to powder, at least for me, I have to powder this. I feel like it doesn't give me as much as I would want as far as longevity, as far as wear time and how it actually wears on the skin. The finish that it leaves on your skin is really, really beautiful, but I've noticed like once I was wearing this for maybe like 5 to 6 hours, it just wasn't looking as good as it looked as a like initial application. So that's my thoughts on this one. I'm kind of sad because Rare Beauty is such a brand that I think is so cute. I love the aesthetic. I love what they come out with. I think that they come out with some pretty like interesting stuff, I guess. But so far this and the concealer, I'm just not super, super impressed with. So that is ranking in at number 17. So at number 16, I feel bad almost ranking this one as low as I did because I haven't had it in my collection very long. I also haven't used it a lot, but this is the Oma by Sharon C Flawless Skin Perfecting Foundation. This is in the shade Fair Lady T2, and I also used this one in a Get Ready With Me fairly recently. I'm hoping that one will be up before this video, but this one, so here's my deal. I am not a full coverage girl. I mainly really enjoy like medium coverage foundations. I guess like mainly like light to medium coverage, and this can go pretty full coverage. Now that's nice. It's nice to have full coverage foundations in my collection because sometimes, let's say I'm breaking out more, or maybe I have like a little bit more redness than usual that I want to cover. It's nice to have something like this, but I feel like full coverage just doesn't always look the nicest on my skin. If I'm being honest, my skin is super, super finicky sometimes with how product sits on top of it. So for instance, if there's something that is pretty like moussey or a little bit of a thicker consistency, it's not going to sit well on my skin. And this one is kind of like borderline thick. Like it's like thin, but it's thick at the same time. Like it's kind of in between. I know that the original Oma Say What foundation, I want to say that one is pretty liquidy, and I tend to prefer liquidy foundations because they just spread out so easily onto the skin and blend out into the skin so much easier. So that's kind of my issue with this one. It just doesn't sit as well as I like. But it's nice to have a full coverage option for sure. All right, ranking in at number 15, I have this one from Physicians Formula. This is the Physicians Formula Butter Believe It Foundation and Concealer. I have the shade Fair to Light, and this one I also have tested in a Get Ready With Me. I want to say this is the one that I used in the video that I did like a red lip, but this one is pretty on the skin, but again, it's pretty full coverage that it's not my absolute favorite within my collection. Again, I just don't reach for full coverage as much, but this is still, it still leaves a beautiful finish to the skin. I think it's just the way it kind of settles is my issue, I think. It's hard to explain, but I absolutely love the packaging of this one. I think it smells really nice, and I know that a lot of people have issues with the butter scent from Physicians Formula, but the good thing about this one is, yes, while you can smell it when you're actually applying this foundation, it's not a scent that's like lingering on throughout the day, if that makes sense. So scent. Okay, anyways, all right, let's go on to number 14. All right, number 14 is this one from Profusion, and this is the Profusion Feel Good Skin Long Wear Skin Perfector. So this is a medium to full coverage natural satin finish foundation. I have the shade, what is it, Light 1. So here's the deal with this one. Again, kind of the same thing. This is a pretty full coverage foundation, but this is, in my opinion, my favorite full coverage foundation because it blends into the skin really well. It's definitely thicker than probably like the Physicians Formula one, which I know I don't normally like, but I just feel like this one blends into the skin a little bit better, and it doesn't like sit on top of like my nose funny, or maybe like on my chin or my forehead funny, which is always a good sign. And so this is one that I know know will give me really great coverage because it's very pigmented, it's very opaque, but is going to wear a little bit better than the others. So that one is at number 14. All right, so number 13 is actually this one from e.l.f. And this is so funny because in my chopping block video that I filmed recently, it was a get ready with me using all of the products in my chopping block. This foundation was in there, but I have been using it and I do think it's pretty good. I do. And it's ranking at number 13, excuse me. It's ranking at number 13 because it's not my favorite. Like, it's probably not the best wearing, but I'm actually wearing it today and I think it looks pretty good. This one is definitely a natural finish foundation, which well, this one says that it's flawless finish, but this is like a natural finish. It's like a natural kind of satin-like finish. It's definitely going to be a little bit more skin-like, and it's definitely more of like a medium, like middle of the road type of foundation. I do think that this is pretty affordable. I think it only runs you for like $6. However, keep in mind that you only get, I want to say you only get half an ounce in here. I can't find the ounces for some reason, but I want to say that this only has like half an ounce or not a full fluid ounce. So that value wise may not be the best option, but it's a good one. I have the shade Vanilla and I think it works pretty well for me. All right, so number 12, I actually have one that I kind of forgot about and I feel kind of bad because it's actually a pretty beautiful foundation. This is from Bare Minerals and I don't know the, oh yes, it's the Complexion Rescue Hydrating Foundation Stick. I have the shade Suede 04 and this is a stunning stick foundation. It is definitely very hydrating. It's kind of glowy on the skin, but I kind of forgot about this one because this one has SPF in it, so mine actually expired like a month ago, unfortunately, but I think it's only because of the SPF. I'm sure it's fine if I still use it, but this is still, it is such a beautiful stick foundation. It's very creamy. I know sometimes stick foundations, you can kind of be like, oh my gosh, I don't know, like I don't like stick foundations, but this one is so creamy and it blends beautifully even though it is a stick foundation. I think it wears beautifully as well. And this is one that I really love to wear, especially during like the cooler months because it is a little bit more glowy. All right, now at number 11, I have this one from Urban Decay, and this is the Urban Decay Stay Naked Hydromaniac Tinted Glow Hydrator. And I have the shade Fair 20, which is a shade too light. However, I can make it work for me. I wanted to return it and get the shade, I want to say 30 or 25, but I was like, you know what, Sabrina, you can make this one work and it's going to end up in the trash if I exchange it. So I'm like, I'll just keep it. But here's what this one looks like. I got this one fairly recently. This is a nice foundation. It really is. However, it didn't knock my socks off. It didn't completely impress me, which makes me really sad because so many people love this one. I know Boys Beauty, I think her name is Danielle on Instagram. She loves this foundation. She wears it all the time. Like, she's literally already almost done with hers and she has beautiful glowing skin. And so I was really excited to try this one out. I know Sarah Rose really likes this one here on YouTube, but I guess it's just maybe the shade because it's a little bit too light. Maybe I don't want to reach for it as much, but also it just, I don't know. But I think it's a really great option if you are looking for something that's lighter coverage because it is a nice formula and it does wear fairly well. All right, at number 10, I actually have this one from Believe Beauty. This is the Believe Beauty Skin Finish Foundation. I have the shade Nude. This is a stunning foundation, especially for $5. You can find Believe Beauty at Dollar General, and it's a very affordable brand, and it has some really great options from, you know, for it being from Dollar General. This is exactly what it says, a skin finish foundation. It does give you a skin-like finish. It's very like natural in finish, and this is a pretty good, again, kind of middle of the road medium coverage foundation, and I like it. I think it's good. I really do, but for some reason I just don't reach for it as much as I would like. All right, next up, number 9, I have the CoverGirl Outlast All Day Stay Fabulous 3-in-1 foundation. I have the shade Classic Ivory, and this one is at number 9 because I don't know, I haven't been reaching for it as much. I still think it's a lovely foundation. I still think it wears beautifully throughout the day and that it gives pretty good coverage, but I guess because my foundations that are ranked a little bit higher, I've just really been reaching for more than this one, that I don't use it as much, but I still really like it. I still think that it's a great CoverGirl foundation if you're wanting to try more from CoverGirl, or if you're just needing a really good, like, solid foundation from the drugstore. I still highly recommend this one, and I do want to say that it comes with a good amount of shades, in my opinion, at least. So I still recommend it. I'm just not reaching for it as much as I used to. All right, number 8, I have this one from Tarte. This is the Maracuja Tinted Hydrator, and I have the shade 20N Light Neutral. This is one of the few tinted moisturizers that I have within my collection, and this one, fun fact, I actually fell in love with through a sample that I got out of my Ipsy bag. I don't have Ipsy anymore. It was just starting to get a little bit excessive, a little bit redundant with what I was getting, and so I canceled it, but I'm glad that I was able to test out the mini and actually finish that one up completely and then purchase the full size, because that showed how much I really enjoyed this one. And funny enough, now I feel like I don't use it as much, but this is a good option. I don't think it's worth the price. However, I'm sure because it's Tarte, they probably use a little bit of better ingredients, especially if there is any of the Maracuja in this, because the Maracuja oil is amazing. But this is a good tinted hydrator. There's one from the drugstore that I prefer much more that I'm going to share in just a second. But this is good, and it's one of my few that I have in my collection ever since, like, my like Pretty Fresh tinted moisturizer from ColourPop went bad. This is one of the few that I do have still, and it's good. It really is, but it's just not as good, I guess, but it is a good option. A really, really affordable BB cream, however, and ranking in at number 7 is this one from AOA Studio. So this is a Shop Missy brand. This is the Perfect BB cream, and I have the shade Fair. This completely knocked my socks off for this being $1. This has amazing staying power. It is pretty, like, I don't want to say that it's like full coverage. I don't want to say that it's like medium coverage. It's just, it is a good coverage product. Like, it has some coverage to it. Like, don't let the fact that it says BB cream fool you. It does have some pretty good coverage. I'm sure the shade range is awful, especially with it being only $1, but the fact that this is $1 and the fact that it performs so well and that it's ranked higher than so many, I mean, this is at number 7. I have worn this, and I've worn it to work where I've had to, like, put on a mask and take it off or whatever, and it still wore beautifully throughout the day. This is absolutely stunning. I would highly recommend this if you're someone who doesn't like to wear a lot of makeup, because that's only $1. Like, maybe it's like $1.50, I don't know, but it is stunning. And I was, like, pleasantly surprised at how well that thing performed for only $1. So I highly recommend that one. Number 6, this is the foundation or tinted hydrator that I prefer over the Tarte one, that I prefer over the Urban Decay one, and that is the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. And this one says that it has hyaluronic acid and squalene, which is really nice. I have the shade Fair, and this is such an affordable option from the drugstore, and it's pretty accessible because it is from Wet n Wild. But this is a good one, you guys. This is pretty good coverage. I would say it's kind of the same coverage amount as the AOA Studio one. It's definitely more full coverage than the Tarte one. But this is, it's pretty good. It really is. It has a decent-ish shade range. Not, okay, no, that's a lie. It's not the best shade range, but I have seen various skin tones make this work for them, so that is good, I guess. I'm hoping that since this is pretty loved, I think enough people do rave about this one that maybe they'll expand the shade range, but this is a really great option. I want to say it's definitely under $6, and you do get almost a fluid ounce. You get 0.91 fluid ounces, and I think the formula is really nice. So that is one that I do prefer over the Tarte one and over the Urban Decay one, and I do think I reach for that one a little bit more. Number 5, and honestly, number 5 and the Wet n Wild one can definitely kind of like interchange with each other, but this is the Misha Perfect Cover BB Cream. This, I swear, like, Jessica Braun is a walking ad for this one, and she is who inspired me to purchase this, and this is stunning. It really is. I have the shade number 21, and I purchased mine on Yes Style. This is really, really nice on the skin. Is it focused? Yeah. This is really, really nice on the skin. I will say number 21, the shade is, it's so strange. It's almost like it's a little gray toned on me at first, but then I swear once it's all blended in, once it sinks into the skin, it looks stunning on. So I enjoy this one. It does give a little bit more coverage than the Tarte one. It's probably similar coverage to the Wet n Wild one, maybe like a slight more coverage, but this is absolutely beautiful on the skin and I do recommend it. The only issue with this one is of course the shade range, but it is fairly affordable. So I do recommend that one a lot. And I think it's absolutely stunning on the skin. All right, so we're already at number 4. I cannot believe it, but number 4. So I'm getting up there with my favorites. Like these are definitely some of my favorite foundations and within my entire collection. Number 4 is the, I forgot. Oh my gosh, I'm so stupid. Okay. I don't know. I just like blanked. I think because I'm like, there was like a truck that backed up and is like parked on the side of the street. And ever since that, I'm kind of like suspicious and I'm like, okay, who are you? And now I'm all just distracted and all of that. But anyways, this is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Hydrating Foundation. This is beautiful. This is so, so stunning. I have the shade 55N. I don't gravitate towards this one as much as I would like, but let me tell you, whenever I use this one, I am like, Sabrina, this is such a stunning foundation. You need to use it more because it is so, so beautiful. I highly recommend this one. I absolutely love that this is sold at Ulta because it makes it a little bit more accessible rather than having to purchase it directly from ColourPop's website. This is beautiful. It gives you great, it's like medium to full coverage, but it has such a beautiful, beautiful finish on the skin. It is pretty hydrating, but it doesn't look greasy or oily on the skin. It looks healthy, like it gives you a glow for sure, but there are so many people with oily skin that still enjoy this one. And there's people that have dry skin that enjoy this one. And I'm someone who has like normal to combo skin and I love this one too. So I think this is a great foundation for so many people. And I want to say the shade range is pretty decent as well. I know ColourPop isn't always the great with inclusivity, but I want to say when it comes to their foundations, they do pretty well. So this is just, it's stunning. It's absolutely stunning. Then number 3 is actually a discovery of 2021. And oh my gosh, is it stunning. It is the L'Oreal Age Perfect Radiant Serum Foundation. It does have sunscreen in it. It has SPF 50, which is nice. I have the shade Rose Ivory and it does work pretty well for me. This is absolutely stunning on the skin. Like it is so, so beautiful. This one is pretty glowy. Like just throwing that out there, it is pretty glowy. I don't know if you have oily skin, if this would work for you. There's so many that I recommend that probably would work for oily skin, but this one I don't know because it is pretty glowy, but it is absolutely stunning on the skin. It's pretty decent coverage. I would say it's like a light to medium coverage, but that's kind of typically what I like to go for, especially on an everyday basis. I took this with me whenever we went out of state back in June and continuously wanted to reach for this one. It is so stunning. It's pretty pricey. I recommend picking it up at Walmart because that is the cheapest I have found it for. Then at number two, I have my Physicians Formula Healthy Foundation. This still stands a test of time for me. This is still such a stunning, stunning foundation. I have the shade LN3, which absolutely works perfect for me. This is such a beautiful one. I don't know if they're discontinuing this or what, because first I heard that they were, and then I heard, well, it's sold at Walmart, and I don't even know. And it is sold at Walmart, but for some reason they only have the light shades. Like, I don't get it. I'm like, why not have the full shade range at Walmart if that's where you're claiming to be selling it at? Do you know what I mean? And then whenever I go to Physicians Formula's website to try to see if they have the deeper shades, they do, but they're always out of stock or something. But this is such a good one. I highly recommend it if you can find your shade. It's so beautiful. It has a beautiful finish on the skin. And my battery's running low, so I'm gonna try to be quick. Then my number 1, you guys, this is my number 1. It is my absolute favorite. I cannot put it down ever since I got it. It is the L'Oreal True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum. You guys, This is stunning. This is absolutely stunning. This is something that I believe that went viral, and it's still out of stock in so many places. Like, they only have very specific shades available. But if you can get your hands on this, you guys, this is absolutely beautiful. It is so, so stunning. It is so beautiful. And I hate the packaging, I hate the dropper situation, but it is absolutely stunning. It's like light to medium coverage. It gives you like a little bit of a glow, but oh my gosh, does it sit well on the skin. It sits beautifully on my nose. It sits well and sinks into my skin really beautifully. And it also wears like impressively well. Like, it really, really does. So those, I'm trying to hurry, my battery is dying, but those are all of my 18 foundations ranked. I went from 18 to number 1. I really hope that you enjoyed. If you did, please like this video, and I would also love for you to subscribe, and I will go ahead and see you in my next one. Bye.